So filling up again, just in case we run out of fuel when we're tuning. So I'm not gonna get a lot, maybe just a little bit of maybe 2 gallons worth. All right, guys, so that was pretty short-lived. We had to stop the tuning process because, or I guess if you want to call it that, because I think my battery went bad. So I ordered a new Noco. I think they actually just released these not too long ago, but this has about 100 more cranking amps than the previous battery I had. Picked this up last night, and luckily it got overnighted. So yeah, it pretty much came with everything I needed. It was a 3-in-1 deal. So I got the battery, the Noco Genius 1 charger, and then obviously the SAE style connector for quick charging. So yeah, let me get this unpackaged and I'm gonna get it installed in the bike. Actually might have to charge it, so it might be a little bit. So I might pan ahead like after it's done charging and everything, but for the meantime, let me get this installed and then we'll see if the bike will fire up, because before I was having some flaky issues with the previous battery, so I just want to eliminate that and see if that was causing the issue. So let's see. All right, so first impressions, this battery is really nice. I like the rugged construction of it. Obviously, I love the billet bulkheads for the positive and negative post. Really love the packaging too, oddly. I'm one of those weird unboxing people. So, yeah. Anyways, really nice charger, super compact. Hell, I might even leave this on the bike somewhere, honestly, just in case. Because my previous lithium charger was actually really bulky. This one is like, I could literally fit this in my pocket. What would have been nice on this though is if they made these collapsible. That would have been pretty sweet. And then obviously SAE connector right here. Really nice. Really like the jumper cables as well. Let's see if I can get them out. Yeah, these are like super high quality. But yeah, let me throw it in the bike, or actually charge it and then throw it in the bike and then see what happens. All right, so while I'm waiting for the new battery to come in, the first one that they actually sent was bad, surprisingly. So luckily I bought it from Amazon and they shipped a new one out and I should have it today. I think I may have killed a cell my anti-gravity battery, because I noticed even with a full charge, I'm having a big voltage dip, and I think that's doing something screwy with the injector dead times. I tried to compensate for it in the tune, but basically what the bike is doing is it'll just run, it'll start, but it'll run for like 2 seconds and then it'll die. And I think that might be due to the voltage fluctuation. So I don't know, we'll try. I just want to start with a new battery and see if that fixes the issue. I've played with timing, fueling, everything. But anyways, so for the meantime, what I am doing, because I didn't do this when I initially got everything together for the first time, is I'm actually putting the fueltech dual valve boost controller on. I already wired it. It's pretty much good to go. I just have to I got some of these quick disconnect fittings right here. This stuff is really nice, especially if you have to disassemble something. I got to throw this 90-degree fitting in the turbine housing, or I'm sorry, the compressor housing. And then I need to swap out this fitting right here, which is what the fitting on the compressor housing will be connected to, because that's the boost reference port. And then I would need to swap this one out with a press fit style fitting for this type of hose right here. You just got to heat this up, and then when you slip it over it, it creates like a leak-free seal. But anyways, you can see I got the 3-pin connector right here. I'm using 2 of the yellow outputs on the fueltech for boost control. And then I just got to throw a line on that internal wastegate right there. So let me get that done and show you how it look when it's done. All right, guys, so I'm dang near done with this. You guys can see I made a little bracket, put a small hole in the frame right here. It's a really small hole. But anyways, see, I got the 90-degree fitting on here. This is nice and rigid now. And then I use that quick disconnect style hose to go to the compressor housing. Only thing I got to do is just pick up an NPT fitting to use this like push lock style hose right here, and then just slip it on that little nipple right there on the wastegate. So yeah, let me grab that, and then should be wrapped up. All right, guys, so I'm back out here working on the bike again today. Really apologize. I would have liked to get a lot more videos out for you guys, but I've been fighting an electrical gremlin with the crank signal on this bike, and I'm ready to like pull my hair out. So obviously I went back through the harness, double checked everything. I'm really meticulous about how I wire stuff up. I try to do a good job, or as good as I can, you know, possibly do. But the problem here is that, well, let me give you a backstory. So the last video that I posted, obviously you guys saw me riding the bike. The one problem that I had when I was up north when we were testing the bike is that I couldn't keep the battery charged. So I actually believe I ended up killing this anti-gravity battery right here. So I just wanted to basically start from a clean slate. So I ordered a new Noco NLP5 lithium battery. The nice thing about this one is it doesn't have a resettable, or it has an auto resettable BMS, so I don't have to press a button like I do on the anti-gravity. Got the new charger to go with it, much more compact than my last one. But anyways, so the battery's working fine, the bike starts up fine. All right, so I actually found the issue why the bike wasn't charging. So initially I had a frame ground from this, because this is a DC connection right here. This basically is what sends the charge voltage back to the battery. So I ended up finding out that I didn't have this grounded. Okay, so I put the ground on, and then basically all hell broke loose. RPM signal literally looks like a freaking sine wave, and the bike won't rev, and it just was not happy the moment that I connected this and brought this back online into the system. So I made sure that, you know, these 2 wires were completely segregated. Made sure they didn't run near any sensor wires. Literally everything. Yeah, so when this isn't online, the bike runs fine. It'll idle perfect. I could rev it all through the RPM range. It does everything, you know, pretty good. The moment I bring this online, I can't rev the bike. Any type of throttle input, it'll make it like cough and backfire really loud. The idle does something weird where it starts like hunting, and it's like no control over the idle RPM. But yeah, it's something about this that it does not like, and I gotta track it down, because this is like the only thing holding me up from having this tuned any further. So, but anyways, the interesting thing about these bikes is that these use a VR signal, or a VR sensor, sorry, and they are actually mounted right next to the generator. So this is basically the alternator for the bike right here. This generator spits out an AC signal, which are these 2 wires right here, and they run up inside this rectifier, and this converts it from AC to DC so it can keep the battery charged. The interesting thing about this, though, is that you can see I'm kind of modifying it right now, but these 4 wires run up out of the cover in parallel, and it's no type of shielding, no type of barrier between the two. And I don't know if this is causing my issue, but I'm at the point now where I'm taking drastic measures like this to eliminate a possible EMF issue, because that's what I think is causing this whole situation. So I'm not sure how the OEM ECU is getting it. Yeah, so I'm not sure how the OEM ECU is getting around this or how it combats this, but I know generally just from, you know, using common, I guess, automotive protocol, you generally wouldn't want this, because this can induce EMF on this sensor right here. You generally don't want any type of like critical sensors near any high powered devices, and this is literally what's going on right here. So I will say, because there's 2 wires that comes from, see if I can find it, this connector right here that I terminated into a Deutsch connector. So you can't see it, but it's actually a little, see if you can see that copper strand in there. Yeah, you can see it. But this is a shielded wire. So it's really 3 wires inside of here. It's 2 wires going down to the sensor, and then it's a copper like coil all around this wire, all the way up to the ECU connector that is grounded back to the battery. And that basically acts as a shield to, or that's literally what it's doing, is shielding the 2 sensor wires from any type of interference, or basically preventing EMF. So the only difference between this side of the connector and this side right here, but you can see I already cut that one off because this is the mating side that plugs in there. But from factory, there's no type of shield in here. And I don't know if the whole situation changes because I'm not running a factory ECU anymore. Obviously it's fueltech now. But there's no shielding. These both run up right next to each other. And I'm thinking that by not having a shield, it's inducing whatever voltage this is creating into this signal right here. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because even if you look at the laptop log that I'm about, or the log on my laptop that I'm about to show you right now, it almost makes the RPM signal look like an AC signal. So that was kind of a big red flag to me, you know, from the get-go. But what I got here, luckily, because I had an extra length of shielded cable when I was shortening this harness up to fit on the bike. So luckily this is the perfect size. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to modify this grommet and use some plastic weld so that way everything is sealed. So I'm going to drill this grommet out, desolder these 2 connections right here from the OEM crank sensor wiring, and then I am going to solder the new shielded cable to this sensor and run it out of the cover, so that way a shield is all the way from the sensor up to this Deutsch connector right here. So I don't know if this will fix it, but I mean, it's just one more thing that I can eliminate, because I do know that with this configuration right here in any other setting, this would cause issues. So like I said, I don't know if it'll fix it, but we could try it and see. So all right guys, so I'm making some headway on this. This is the shielded cable I was talking about. I got these 2 ends spliced. I got the old wiring out of there. And I'm getting the grommet drilled out a little bit larger so the OD of this wire can fit through there. But for the most part, everything is looking pretty straightforward. I am going to take this sensor out and clean it to make sure no metal shavings are on it or anything, because that's something that can also cause a flaky RPM signal. But yeah, so just got to get this routed through here and then throw some plastic, some JB plastic weld up here. It also works pretty good for rubber too. So just make sure everything is sealed up, and then yep, pretty much go from there. All right guys, so I finally got this thing figured out. So it was not a wiring issue with the stator, it was actually a software issue. And I want to give a huge shout out to Anderson Dick and Nathaniel Ardern. I probably butchered that last name, but shout out to him. Guy knows his stuff for sure, because he remoted in at literally 9 o'clock on a Sunday night and got this thing running smoothly for me. So it's completely smooth all through the RPM range, as you'll see in a second. And then as well as pretty much explained to me what was going on and why I had the issue I did. So if you look at the software, there are multiple RPM settings right here. So the one that I originally had was Hall/VR with pull-up, and that, from what I understand, increases the sensitivity on the crank sensor mounted in the stator cover. But the main issue was that the sensor edge was incorrect. So originally I had a falling edge and it was actually a rising edge, and it's pretty sweet because this has a built-in oscilloscope, and we were actually able to see that live when Nathaniel had remoted into the FT manager with me. Another thing we had to do is, if you look right here, this is a advanced map option. So this actually changes the sensitivity, or I guess you could say the magnetism of the sensor itself. Had to play with that a little bit, as well as some idle tables. But he got this thing running pretty good for me, and I'm really happy. So, and then obviously, as you guys can see, finally got a freaking filter on here. Looks pretty cool from far away. Can't even really tell it's on there except for the blue ring. So shout out to Turbo Guard. That makes some really nice stuff. This thing barely fit. You can see how close it is on the frame rail, but it's just not touching. So, but yeah, so I won't waste any more time. Let's see what this thing does. Let me pull this up. What's up, guys? So I've been playing with this thing today. I actually rode it around yesterday. Felt pretty good, gotten some boost. But one thing I forgot to do before I rode it around is to do another static timing check. And that's basically making sure that software TDC is actually correlating with mechanical TDC. So I was actually off by 8.1 degrees. So I just locked it back in at 0. Adjusted the time and offset, and I'm actually about to take it on the first ride to get another log with everything correct. So big oopsie on my part, I guess you could say, but let's see what it does. Alright, so I've been playing with the tune a little bit. Been more so focused on staging the injectors correctly, because I'm just using like 85% as like a duty cycle target, not to go over with the primary injector. So I want to try to maximize as much of the primary injector as possible. So I've been playing with like different stage ramps with bringing the secondary injector online. So I cleaned up the tune a little bit with this last iteration. So take a test drive and see what it does. But right now this thing does pull pretty hard. Sometimes it will break up. I know that's just more so of a fueling issue, just trying to figure out you know, with bringing the secondary injector online at the correct point, because it'll make it go rich all of a sudden. But yeah, jump on it, take a ride, do a few pulls, and let's see what it does. Idle's pretty good though. Play with the fueling when it goes in the vacuum too, as well as the idle RPM, because sometimes if I do like a hard pull, it'll like turn off, but it'll start right back up. So I think that's also a fueling. But the thing is definitely making some power right now. I don't even know how much gas I got in here. I got some good amount. Handlebars were just shaking during that whole pull. Alright guys, so I actually just made a pass on this thing not too long ago. I think I am starting to make some headway on this thing now. This last pass in particular actually felt really good. And please excuse the laptop screen. I actually got to get this warrantied out tomorrow, because I let it sit on the bike while it was idling and came outside, and this was actually on the pavement. So got to get this warrantied out, so please excuse it. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys what I've been doing all morning. So you can see this, I got the FT data logger up right now, and I just want to show you these two lines right here. So this pink line up here actually represents O2 correction. So that's how much the ECU is wanting to add or subtract fuel wise in order to meet your target AFR. reading. And then this blue line right here actually represents the O2 AFR value target. So the closer these two are together, the more on par the tune is as far as meeting what you want to meet as far as AFR value. So you can see in this pass right here, for the most part, it was actually pretty much on par. There's a few areas where I got to add and subtract fuel, but I mean, it's not too bad. This line right here in particular, this is where it wants the most fuel, which is pretty, it's, you know, pretty expected in this area, I guess I'd say, because this is actually right as boost is coming in. I think I made like, yeah, I made a little bit more boost than that on that particular area right there. I think it was more like 7.5, 8. But anyways, the nice thing is that you can actually do this fuel table overlay. So this will actually show you the injector pulse width table straight from the tune. And when you start, you know, hovering the cursor in the tune, it'll actually go to that specific area where it is demanding or wanting to subtract, wanting to add or subtract fuel, basically. So you can see you actually have the option to choose whether you want to do this on the primary injector or the secondary injector. Well, one thing that I've been doing is actually trying to pay close attention to what the duty cycle is on the injectors. So rule of thumb is you never really want to go over 85% because the injector, it'll get, you know, like uncontrollable, anything beyond that. But so I've been trying to stay under 85% or like right in that range. And then anything beyond that, the secondary injector, which is a 200-pound injector, it'll take over and basically handle a bulk of the load up top. So this area right here is demanding 20%. This is the secondary injector right here. So this whole row right here, I might actually, or this whole line right here, I might actually fatten up quite a bit and then do another pull and then see what happens. But really starting to see some results. This thing damn near went 12 o'clock on me earlier today. See what it does. Take it on a little test rip. Dash nice and mounted. guys, so this is actually a data log of the last run that I just made in the previous clip. But you can see the boost is quite on an upwards trend. So the funny thing is that over the last couple of days I've been messing with this, and you know, I've been making small deviations here and there in the tune as far as fueling, and the boost is just getting higher and higher. So you can see right here I'm already at 7, 8, and it builds boost fast too. It's really responsive. But you can see right here we actually hit over 10 psi in that log alone from the last clip. So you can see, I think right here I hit a peak boost of like 12 psi, and you can see right here this map reading. So yeah, that hit 12 psi, and then later in the run, like right here, let's see, 13.43 psi. So peak of 13.63 psi. That's actually an all-time high so far. I plan on trying to run around like 28 to 30, which would be absolutely insane because the bike is nowhere near its full potential right now. Like, I'm super soft on timing right now, and I gotta add more fuel, as you can see from the O2 correction. I'm just more so happy that I'm starting to see an upwards trend, so I'm starting to see repeatability. That's the main thing I'm happy about. But yeah, the thing that sucks though is that the videos really never do it justice as far as showing how much power this thing is like making just from seat of the pants, because this thing is like absolutely retarded right now. Like, I'm willing to bet that I could take most things from an 1/8. Hell, probably even a... I mean, not speak so soon. But anyways, the nice thing is that the fueltech does have a built-in pitch rate sensor. So it's a table that's specifically set up for pitch angle, which would, in my case, be, I guess, like the angularity of a wheelie. So if it's picking up the front wheel, the ECU will know it. And the table is basically pitch angle versus ignition timing. So depending on what the angle is or how crazy the wheelie is, it can actually pull ignition timing to bring the front wheel down. So that's actually the form of traction control in the ECU that's built in. But yeah, I just want to get this video out tonight because I know it's been a while since I posted, but I was fighting that freaking crank sensor gremlin for a while. But that's just me being a noob with the software. Nobody's fault. So I'm just glad that I got over that hurdle, and now it should just be full sail in ahead. So stay on the lookout because I'm probably gonna upload something like shortly after this video goes up. Yeah, just gonna keep going up on that boost. Let's just say I might be checking that clutch a lot sooner than I initially thought I was, because this thing is making the boost. So to everybody that said this thing wouldn't make boost, I bet you eating those words now. So stay on the lookout. Peace.